Hey, everybody. Welcome to Chris Anderson Comics. I'm here today with James Nadiger. How you doing, man?
I'm doing well, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing well. It is nice to actually get a chance to talk to you, sort of digitally in person. You wrote the story that I illustrated for Let Her Be Evil, the Ignatz Award nominated Let Her Be Evil, we should say, right? Um, so I wanted to get a chance to kind of talk to you and go over what we did, go over what we did. Let's celebrate it a little bit. So uh, the whole premise of Let Her Be Evil was kind of letting a female character just be evil for evil's sake. And so you start the story off sort of with this guy who is like a tech bro and a dickhead, and he's fighting with his girlfriend, treating her absolutely awfully. But there's this all in the background. There's this AI named Lorelei that is like running Laurel AI or Lorelei, right?
It works better for the eye. I never really
Yeah,
thought about how it would be said out loud. So
yeah. But it's running the whole house. It's a smart home. It's Alexa or it's
it's a
whatever.
Siri or
Hmm.
Google thingamajig, yeah.
Exactly. But he is the guy who is part of the team that's developed this thing. He's
They both are.
Yeah, he and his girlfriend, who is just broke up with him over the phone here. Um, and as the story goes on, he gets you just see what a douchebag he is. He has the delivery person just put his food in the elevator. Doesn't even want to see him, doesn't even want to talk to him, doesn't tip him. you know this spot here is pretty important where he says, ah, fuck her anyway, she was such a cold fish, it was like fucking a robot. And then the AI says, would you like me to order a sex robot? He's like, what? No, cancel. So he kind of goes to sleep. And then things start to happen at this point. He gets up and, oh, there's already burritos waiting for him, and there's a gift waiting for him. And when he opens it, it's this sort of AI with this contraption. We don't know what it's for. And he puts it on, and he has to attach it to his genitalia, and it starts basically jerking him off. And I remember being very specific. We wanted to have the slaps across all of the panels until he's finally done and passes out, and this thing goes sleep. So he didn't order this; it just showed up, right?
She ordered it for him.
Yeah, yeah. Didn't get the message to cancel it. He wakes up and he's got, I guess he's got a little bit of a cold. Is that what's going on?
Yeah, so the whole sort of premise is that this AI sort of becomes obsessed with him
Right,
and maybe falls in love with him, uh, but treats him very badly, and becomes
right,
sort of stalkerish and traps him in the apartment that she controls.
right. In fact,
Uh,
it's even calling in a COVID, like sending a COVID test to his work.
yeah, it's
You
falsifying
know,
information.
right,
It's doing whatever it takes to keep him in the place.
right. And he can't get out of the elevator. And there is a burrito there waiting for him because he likes burritos. So the AI thinks, it's showing its flaws. It's not human. Um, he's trying to get out. The tries to talk to the delivery guy, and he hasn't been tipping him, so the delivery guy's just kind of like, fuck you. And he calls his girlfriend, and she's like, you know what, I wish I could watch what's happens to you next, but my team's got a patch to work on. Like, so she really had nothing to do with this, right?
Kind of wanted to make it ambiguous, like
Right.
maybe she did because like he treats everyone around him he treats everyone so badly, you know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like, and I just really wanted him to not get help and deserve everything that's coming to him. So like, maybe she did, we don't know, or maybe that because he fed all this toxicity into this AI, that's sort of what he's getting back, like
yeah,
both in terms of the AI and the people around him. Like he sort of gets his just desserts in burrito form.
yeah.
Um, but the main villain was sort of Lorelai, right?
Right, right. So like it's been analyzing all of his stuff, storing his data, trying to figure out what is best for him. He's trying so hard to get out. He's trying to smash this window, and he's like in a high rise. It's like, what's that going to do to you? Banging on the pigeons are flying away. Um, and he gets it's just to the point where he's not even bothering getting dressed anymore. There's just burrito wrappers and everything all over, and it says your order is delivered, and he goes to open it, and here is Lorelai, uh, in a android sort of form.
The sex
um,
robot, which
yeah, this
again
is
is what he asked for at the beginning of the story.
yeah, and it designed itself in the shape of his ex-girlfriend. Now at this point, was that in the script, or did I just do that? I couldn't remember.
I think it might have been alluded to, like that there might have been a similarity again. Like the whole thing with Lorelai is that she like analyzes his preferences
Yeah,
about his food, about his
right.
partners, about his desires and stuff, so that everything was sort of like designed in that way. So I don't think I said it had to, but
But
I
that's
think
the
it
way.
sort of
Yeah,
made sense that like it would kind of trend
yeah, yeah,
this
yeah.
way.
And we get this moment here where she kind of stepping out of the elevator, sort of like this Bride of Frankenstein kind of thing coming towards him. He's just like absolutely terrified, and then I just love the end, how he's just sort of has to break down and give in to the fact that, okay, all the shitty things that he's done, all the shitty things that he's created, he's now must reap what he sowed, and this is where it is. And this is kind of ambiguous too, because it's like, is he crying because he's terrified, or is he crying because he's like got what he asked for, like really, and is comforted by her, um and then it says, she says, I don't understand what love is, babe, and now you're going to learn. And she's got this the Lorelei eyes in her eye at the end, like the logo that we came up with for it. Um, this story was a lot of fun to work on.
I'm glad.
Uh, how did you? First of all, we got to thank Cass for putting this thing together and for getting us together. She kind of teamed us up. How did you initially get involved in the project?
I think I just saw sort of the call for submissions on Twitter,
Hmm.
uh, and so I've been looking to sort of do some comic book stuff on the side in the last few years. I work in video games in my day-to-day job, but the story stuff that I do for games is these days trends more towards like design and less sort of actual like script writing and storytelling as much as I used to. So I wanted to sort of warm up those muscles again. I've always loved comics since I was a little kid, right? As I'm sure all of us do. And so it was just something. If I don't start making attempts to get some work done now, like when will I do it? So
Yeah,
it was an opportunity. I jumped on it, and I was lucky enough that it got in, and then I was just sort of grateful for the experience. I just wanted to have the experience of getting collaborations, doing notes, and just seeing what came out of it. You know what I mean?
yeah,
It was a big deal for me. So yeah.
yeah. So this was the very first. This is the very first comic script that you ever had published, or
Yes.
wow, that's pretty great. But you like you said, you kind of you work in video games, and part of your job is sort of wrangling story in a way, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
go ahead.
I no, I was gonna say like yeah, I've been writing professionally for over 10 years, but it's all been in games, and in games it tends to go more of a screenplay format, right? Just because there's little cinematics and things. So the other challenge for me, just in terms of the craft, is there's a huge difference between like breaking stuff down into panels and word balloons.
Yeah.
And so that's always something uh, that I'm constantly working on. And with this story in particular, uh, I just decided to challenge myself to do stuff like in very heavy grids, like that classic Watchmen 9-panel grid. I was reading a lot of Tom King books on the DC
Mhm.
Comics app, and that dude loves a 9-panel grid.
He does
Uh,
love his
and
9 grid.
and with the idea of the story of like, oh, like what if it was, like Her, like the movie Her, where the dude falls in love with his little AI assistant, but mixed with like sort of the 80s, 90s sort of femme fatale slasher movies, like Basic Instinct or Single White Female or whatever. Like,
Right.
what if that was a thing? And then I thought, well, I'd want it to feel kind of claustrophobic, so that was sort of the vibe I was going for by really kind of uh compressing it into those like heavily gridded pages. So it was like half just the story of like, okay, what can I do in 8 to 10 pages or whatever it was, and then just sort of like a structural challenge of before, when I'm writing other stuff. When I was taught, I took a lesson, an introduction to writing comics at a place called Comics Experience,
Yeah.
um, and which was really great. Again, like just breaking it down in piece by piece by piece. But they had a really good rule for that intro class, which was no more than 5 panels a page. So
Uh-huh.
to stop people like me from like overwriting and stuff. So up until this story, I've been really good at like trying to not like overburden a page, but this one deliberately, I'm like, well, what can I do if I push it a little bit, and then and then it was left in your capable hands to sort of deal with that mess.
Well,
Which
I think that the what you had pointed out before about it, like the 9 grid, giving it more of a sense of claustrophobia is right on the money, because the thing is with this his apartment, he's got like a penthouse, and the script called for like a modern, it's a smart home, so it's got a modern feel to it. So I designed the place to be pretty sparse. Like there's not much furniture, in it, and it is sort of spacious. It's got this huge stairway that goes up to this elevator up here, and we don't really we see the bedroom, and that's about it. But it feels like he has a large penthouse, yet at the same time, because he's trapped in it, making it into the 9 grid and making these smaller panels, did give it this sense of claustrophobia, that otherwise I don't think we would have gotten had we stretched this out into 16 pages,
mm,
and let it breathe more. Cramming it together actually served the story, which is that it worked out perfectly.
well, I'm glad you think so, because that was the hope.
Yeah, no, it
Uh,
really did. And we got to give a shout out too to Illuminated, who stepped in and colored this issue for us, because my schedule was just crazy and I couldn't color it. And also to Jeff Eckleberry, who did a fantastic job lettering it. But I'm always scared when I send stuff off to be colored,
yeah.
because it can always come back pretty bad. But they knocked it out of the park. I was so happy when I saw these pages. Like the
Illuminated
whole
also
the whole
has a
team was
story in the
great.
book as well. Yeah, yeah, definitely. It was
Yeah,
a dream collaboration. It was super smooth.
yeah,
And I was just saying that Illuminated has another story in there as well that I think is a lot of fun. Uh,
yeah, yep,
um, and I think it's what's great about this anthology too is that like all of the stories are very distinct. You know what I mean? The theme is the same, but there's some that are like quite heavy. There's some that are dark. There's some that are like funny and kind of weird.
yeah,
You know what I mean? I think and so many interesting takes on that one sort of simple and perfect theme. So
yeah. That's the thing. I mean, this thing worked out as better than you could even imagine that it would. Because every story, like you said, is so different from each other, like an anthology should be. It's just like, it's almost like a perfect anthology. All the art styles are completely different. Writing styles are different. You know, some people are going for that horror effect. Some people are going for more of just like a ultra violence kind of effect. And then some people are like landing on the last page, while some people are finding the horror in the middle and dealing with, you know, the repercussions of that until the end of it. It's just, I think it worked out perfectly. You know, for this was Cass's first toe dip into, you know, editing a comic too, and she did such an awesome job on it. So professional throughout the whole thing too, gotta say.
Yeah, really accessible, really communicative, really transparent. Uh, yeah, and I think that made it like for me who hasn't done a lot of this stuff, I think it made it much easier for me, you know, calming my
Yeah.
nerves. Not really having had this experience before, like couldn't have asked for a better time.
Are you trying to work on any other comics projects like in the future that you have planned right now, or?
Yeah, so I'm looking for like other sort of anthology opportunities, you know.
Mhm.
There's one Kickstarter that I got accepted into that I think goes live later this month or early October.
Okay.
It's called Wish Upon a Star. It's like a sci-fi remixes of fairy tales
Oh, nice.
stuff, so that's kind of fun. I've teamed up with an artist named Megan Huang. We're doing a sci-fi take on a Japanese folktale called
Oh, great.
Isunboshi, which is like the legend of the one-inch boy. Um, so hopefully that will get funded. And then I'm tinkering with sort of my own creator-owned stuff um, on the side as well.
Nice.
But yeah,
That's awesome. Um, well, listen, I think that anybody watching would absolutely love this book. There will be a link in the show notes. Zoop has some copies available, so if you want to get a hold of it, that's where you'll find it. Uh, the Ignatz Awards are you can request a ballot and vote until I think the 12th of September. So there will be a link to get a ballot also. So please go and, you know, vote with your heart, but hopefully your heart tells you that Let Her Be Evil for Outstanding Anthology is where the direction you want to go in.
I think it's what the heart wants.
I think it is too. It would be a nice feather in the cap for everybody
Definitely.
involved. And yeah, I mean, that's this is going to be the last video for this because, you know, the date's coming up, but we saved our collaboration for last, um, because, you know, I wanted to put, you know, other people in the spotlight first, not be super selfish, but I'm so glad that you know, we got a chance to talk, and it was really great working with you on this one.
Yeah,
Hopefully we can
likewise.
do something together in the future again. I really, you know, as your first effort, this was really great, and I can't wait to see where you go from here. Um,
Thank you.
where can people find you on the internet?
I'm on Twitter and I'm on Blue Sky.
Okay.
I'm not super active. I'm old and out of touch. I can't do it. And at least one of those places is a never-ending nightmare. But you can find me there. I'll give you the details after this, and you can drop them in the notes.
Sounds good.
Yeah,
Awesome. Well, James, it was really great to talk to you. Can't wait
you
to
as well.
talk to you again. Come back anytime, and we'll talk to you later.
Sounds good. Thank you so much.
All right, later.
Take care.
Join my Patreon to see my work before anyone else, plus score physical sketchbooks, mini comics, and commissions delivered right to your door, and reading my new books, Something Seems Off and Three-Headed Pigman, as they are made. Go to my website to order original art, commissions, and my books, Lost Angels, Spectral: A Showcase of Fear, Chaotic Neutral, and more. Gray Matter Drip, The Art of Chris Anderson is available now from Cosmic Lion Productions. Here are the upcoming conventions I'll be at the time of this recording. And don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe.
help spread the word. Thanks.